All right. Well, we're the gentlemen, the boys, the mandem, the guys, the O's. Listener, it's been a hot minute, but we're back with the bang. I think you had missed us. Summer is full of transitions. It is what it is. A lot of moving parts and pieces, puzzle making, new countries, new opportunities. So you gotta move with how life is moving. So anyway, listener, we have missed you. We're back. It's your boy, Mutsa Chris Damakufa, back in the cut, joined with my brothers Nkosi, Samson. I wear there, gents. Let me saw my brother Mangoro up there. Say hello to the people, and then over to the boy Sangi, and then we'll get started with the episode. So over to you, Mr. Mangoro.
Mr. Mori, yes, it's been a while. The Forest Brothers have been away, but they say you can never keep a good man away or keep a good man down. In the situations, keep a good man away. We're back. New exciting things coming from the Forest Brothers podcast. A couple of changes here and there, but we're back. Today, we're sharing some great knowledge as we always do. I think we've mentioned the three E's enough last season, so I think listeners you should remember those. If not, go in and tune into those previous episodes. And yeah, welcome back. We missed you, and it's going to be a great journey this season.
Hello, and welcome back to the Forest Brothers podcast. I am happy to be back here with my two brothers, Mari, Mangoro. Great to see you guys. Like the gents have alluded to, we have been on a little break. It's been a summer of change, metamorphosis, transition, and a lot has happened. And the brothers needed some time away to figure things out. But the brothers are back, and that's what's important. We're back, and we're ready to get going again and keep delivering the content that you guys really enjoy and that we enjoy delivering. So without further ado, gents, let's get into it.
You know how it is. All right. So first things first, listener, let's just jump right into it. This episode is all about transfers. We are catching you up on all the transfers that have taken place in the Premier League. Players in, players out. So without further ado, let's start with Arsenal because that's the club at the top of the list. Arsenal has actually done some pretty interesting business this year, this summer. They're trying to shock us before the season starts. I think Arteta has had too many sleepless nights, and he's trying to make up for bottling the season last season. So trying to strengthen the squad. But anyway, Arsenal has taken in Mr. Kai Havertz from Chelsea. I'm gonna be very curious to hear how Nkosi feels about that. They bought the brother for 65 mil. And then they also managed to get Declan Rice. He's now a man of the Arsenal. They threw in a young 105 million from the brother. And Jurion Timber got that brother from Ajax for 38 mil. So let me start with Samson and just hear your thoughts on these three players that have come in. These three big players, Havertz, Rice, Timber. How did you feel when you saw that business down by Arsenal? Are you happy?
I am happy. I will be honest, I did not see Havertz coming. And even now, I'm not entirely convinced like Arsenal was the best move for him. I think Real Madrid, he should have taken that Real Madrid. Or Chelsea should have let him go Real Madrid. They should have accepted the Real Madrid offer. But he's here, and I think, they're going to try play him where Granit Xhaka was playing. So that'll be interesting to watch. I just don't think he has as much defensive capabilities that Xhaka did and can contribute to that in the side of the game. But going forward, he's going to be very good in the box. So, we'll see how that goes. Declan Rice, he kind of speaks for himself. Like he's really good, and we didn't need any convincing, that to go spend that money to sign him because we know what he's worth. We know who he is and how good he can be. So that one speaks for itself. And Jurion Timber, I think that was just about having some more depth in the defense. We saw what happened when William Saliba went down last season. We just needed more bodies, so we got one. We got a guy complete right back, complete center back. Allows Tierney to play more as a natural defender instead of trying to copy Zinchenko when he's not there. Because the man, the man Timber can do what Zinchenko does on the right as opposed to on the left. So it's very interesting. I think the defense is looking complete, the midfield is looking complete, and the attack is looking very fluid. So we'll just wait and see how the season starts and how it goes.
Actually, can we have a very honest conversation about Declan Rice? And I'll ask this to you, Mr. Mangoro. Is this brother worth 105 million? Do you think he's actually that good? Or is this another case of overpriced, overinflated English player just because he can play well? But to me, and this is going to be very controversial, Declan has always been, he's mid to me. He's overhyped. Like, he's fine. Like, you can pick Declan Rice out of any borough in England. Like, in all honesty, he's just consistent. That's what he is. But to say he's a talented footballer that costs 105 million, there you lose me. But maybe it's my football acumen that is lacking, and that's why I hate on the man, Mr. Rice. So that's why I wanted to throw it to the brother Mongoro. Maybe he can educate me and some other people out there who feel the same as me. Or maybe you're gonna say I'm right, which is usually not the case. So, Mr. Mongoro, is Declan worth 105, or is this another case of English inflation?
I'd say it's very simple, Mr. Omota. Tastic is a good player, Tastic. I think he does a great job when given the opportunity. But I do agree with you there when you say he is overinflated, like the prices are overinflated. I think it also has to do with British tax. You've seen the prices that have been labeled on British players. If he was some random kid coming out of Brazil called Rizinho, I think it'd be worth like 20 mil. If it was French, 40. I saw there was literally a comparison where, based on the name and the country it was from, it was just growing to a point where Declan Rice, because he was English, was 105 mil. Whereas if he was from a different country, he was literally like half the cost or even a quarter or like a fifth of the cost. So I do agree with you there when you say his price is overinflated, but it's the market we live in. Like last year, they spent, and Man City spent not last year, but the year before, 100 million on Jack Grealish. So that's kind of put the market at that point right now, and that's just where prices are because now you're seeing there used to be a time when a player going for over 50 million was a big deal. Now 65 million, 70 million is like the standard. Like you see teams buying players for very, very exorbitant prices, and you're like, this guy's literally played in this team for 1 year. Like I also do say like Chelsea signed Modric for 88 million after like 1 year. So that's just where the market is right now, and it's just it is what it is, honestly.
Actually, when you put that Grealish number out there as well, like just putting it in perspective, Jackie O Grealish, 100, and then Declan Rice, 105. I really say Declan costs more money than Grealish. That's actually a bit mad to me. But anyways, that I just wanted us to have that little but actually I gotta ask Samson this, and this is the last on Arsenal. Granit Xhaka left you guys, or he was released anyway. And you know how I feel about the boy Granit. I think he was a problem, but I loved him at Arsenal because I could always count on him. I could always count on Granit Xhaka to do something, mess up your psyche, mess up the game, get hot headed, do something crazy. So seeing him leave is kind of bittersweet for me because I hated him, but at the same time I loved him because he was a thorn in Arsenal's side. But anyway, I actually don't know how Arsenal fans feel about the boy Granit and his departure. So I kind of want to hear from you, Samson. You know, Granit went to Bayer Leverkusen for 21.4 million. How did you feel about his departure? Like, was that a good? Was it time for him to leave, or do you feel like he should have stayed on?
I think, given his role in the team, he was the kind of player who, if he wanted to stay, he was welcome to stay, but he wasn't necessarily going to play every game because Declan Rice had just been signed and Kai Havertz had been signed. And even if, you know, Granit Xhaka wasn't going to leave, there were reports that, maybe not Kai Havertz, but, from, I think, January, Caicedo was rumored to join. And in the summer, Romeo Lavia was rumored to join. So there was already going to be way more competition for places in his position. So he was probably not going to play as much. And he just made the decision that, his time has come. He's 32, I think, wants to go back to Germany. I think he made a promise to his wife that they would move back. And then Arteta had initially convinced him to stay. Then now he just felt it was time. So yeah, made a family decision, and we wish him well. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, well, let's see how Arsenal do this time around without the boy Granite. Okay, so moving on, let's move on to Aston Villa. So this is gonna be fairly quick. Aston Villa, I think the biggest two signings are Pau Torres and Musa Diaby. They also got Yuri Tillemans from Leicester for free. So three decent signings because they got Pau Torres from Villarreal for 33 million, Musa Diaby from Bayer Leverkusen. The fees undisclosed. I don't know much about Pau Torres, to be honest, nor do I know much about Musa Diaby. I don't know how well those players play. I don't really know what their caliber is. Yuri Tillemans, like I've seen him play at Leicester, decent guy, decent player. He fell off last season, but maybe he'll pick back up. But I think Kosi, you usually know a lot more about player attributes. With these good signings, I think you talked specifically about Pau Torres, right? I mean, is this guy a star or are these like mediocre signings?
Pau Torres, I'd say, will be a good signing. He was in the Spain squad the last couple of tournaments, starting center back for Spain. So you can imagine the quality that he brings. He brings experience. You always shining about. You always talking about Tyrone Mings. I think this is the end of the road for Tyrone Mings. I think Pau Torres is a level above. He's definitely going to take his position because he's also a left-footed center back. He's I think 6 foot something. Pretty good in the air, ball playing, composed, brings a lot of experience. So he's going to be pretty much a good signing for Aston Villa. And then I want to talk about Tielemans. He behaved very weirdly at Leicester last year when he wanted to leave. But with Diaby is actually going to be a good signing. I think they spent maybe 40 to 50, between 45 and 50 million pounds. Like he's a big signing. So he's electric. If you think Leon Bailey's quick, take Leon Bailey's pace and then apply like a finishing touch, someone who has the end product, who can score goals, who can get assists, plays all primarily on the right. He's been dangerous at Bayer Leverkusen for the last couple of years now. Actually came through the PSG Academy with a couple of other players, but for him, I think he's also going to have a good season. Watch out for him. He's actually electric.
No, no, I love to hear that. I love to hear that. That's good. That's good. Samson, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Leon Bailey and Diaby used to play for Leverkusen at some point, and when Diaby broke out into the Leverkusen team, Leon Bailey was sold to Aston Villa at the time. And it's weird. I mean, I think he's a good sign, but I think it's a weird signing because those two were essentially the same player. They're right wingers who have very good left feet, and the right foot isn't as good. They love to cut in. I think Diaby's a bit more direct and he can go down the wing a bit more, slight difference. Shoots a bit less, passes a bit more, slight difference. But it's like if we bought another soccer, like a fitter soccer, it's a little weird because I think Diaby maybe gives them a bit more consistency because he doesn't get injured as much, but it's basically the same guy. So we'll see how that goes. I'm interested to see if like obviously if he performs, that's great. But I'm interested to see what happens with Bailey at the club as well.
But I mean, it's those subtle differences that actually make a big difference when it comes to how a team plays, right? Like if you're going to be more consistent, less injuries, if you actually make better decisions, if you just even 2% better. Like I feel like the Premier League right now, like I think we talked about this in a previous podcast at some point, like the quality in the Premier League is so high that if you're 1% better than the next player, that's a big difference, right? So maybe the fact that this guy is like 5% better than Leon Bailey, that could drastically improve Aston Villa's attack and consistency. And maybe even pushes Leon Bailey to do better. Or like maybe they put him more in the middle instead of putting him on the wing. And then he's actually better at that role as compared to where he was before. Like, I don't know. So I don't see this too much of a weird move, but if they sell Leon Bailey, then I don't know what they've done. But I don't know what El Neni is cooking. Mister, not El Neni, sorry, Mister Good Evening. I don't know what he's cooking, but let's see. A notable sell that Aston Villa did, Marvelous Nakamba. He was loaned out to Luton. They sold him to Luton. So he's going to be coming back as a Luton player, Mr. Zimbabwe himself. So I'm very curious to see how he he raises the flag. Even Ashley Young left to Everton for free. So just notable mentions there. Um, Bournemouth, they made a couple of signings. I don't think there's anything of value here to mention. Sorry to my Bournemouth fans, Bournemouth listeners. I think the only person from a decent team is from Inter Milan, Ionat Radu. Never heard of this person. Maybe the Italians might know who he is, but he's also on loan. But other than that, yeah, sorry, Bournemouth. Like it's relegation smelling coming up for you again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know this random farmers y'all signed, but it's okay. So, anything to mention there, gents, or we can move on. Okay.
I mean, one of them is the Dutch legend Kluivert, his son, whose Roma career didn't work out, but he's like a washed older kid. Who knows what will happen? People are excited about it when he was 18. Now he's like 25. Who knows?
Hey, you know what? The Premier League likes to give people rebirths. Maybe it's going to be like this season's Michu from Swansea those many years ago, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. So moving along to Brentford, not too many notable mentions either, except for maybe Romeo Beckham, but not that notable. I I think they just did that for the star quality. They are sponsored by Hollywood Betting. Now they've got a Hollywood star on their team, so it just makes sense. But in terms of star quality, yeah, I don't know. I don't know
By
what's
the
there.
way, he was signed for the reserve team. He wasn't even signed for the first team. So, you know,
Uh,
he was signed for his name. Like, we have to be real about that. Like, when the transfer
yeah,
was announced, he was signed for the reserve team. So it's probably whack.
yeah. I'm actually disappointed in Brentford's business because I mean Ivan Tony is not going to play for a long for like some time. So I don't know who exactly is replacing him up front. I'm not too sure which of these guys are strikers. Maybe Nkosi you might have an idea of who, but like I think Buemo is gonna be the one taking charge up front. But I don't know who's supposed to take in Tony's place for now.
So Kevin Schade, he played the German international, I believe. He played second half of the season at Brentford on loan. So he's going to be like the main center forward they use. They've been using in preseason, like recently, I think in the Premier League Summer Series. He's been like the main forward they've used. He's looked lively. He's quite pacey. It's a different profile from Tony. Tony's more of a target man, flick on kind of striker, back to a goal kind of striker. He's more of a dynamic forward. He can play, run the channels. He can do multiple things. It's a different profile. I don't know if he gets the same numbers as Tony, but he's going to be a good signing. The other two that I think are good to mention, Nathan Collins. He did struggle at uh, I think Wolves. He came from Wolves. I think he'll be. I think Thomas Frank's coach is going to put him in good stead, hopefully, because they do defend a lot and they do enjoy defending at Brentford. And the goalkeeper, Mark Flecken, came over from Freiburg. I think he had the best save percentage. The listeners can correct me if I'm wrong, but he had the best save percentage out of the German league at Freiburg last year. So he's going to be as a good replacement for David Raya. So I think when they knew that David Raya was leaving, they decided to invest in him. He's going to be pretty good, actually.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Our resident expert. Sounds like Brentford actually have done some decent business. So, Brentford fans, please, I apologize. It sounds like y'all are trying. So, top 10. Brighton, let's move on to them. Um, Decent business. Mahmoud Dahoud from Borussia Dortmund. They got Joao Pedro from Watford. They got Igor Julio. People seem excited about Joao Pedro. So I think that Brighton, and we all know Brighton, they also got James Milner. Yeah, I don't know how notable that is, but they do have him. Um, yeah, I think Brighton always sign these people. I think even in the preseason, some of these recent signings have actually been doing pretty well from what I've seen. So I think Brighton always managed to. Their scouting team again is the best in the Premier League. So I don't doubt that the people they have here will be talking about them crazy when the season starts. So it sounds like decent business. They sold Alexis McAllister to Liverpool. I think we all knew that, but I think that's the only notable people that they've actually sold. But yeah, that's kind of Brighton's business. Seems like just patching up any sales and just improving themselves. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a good season. So looking forward to seeing these players. Um, any thoughts on Brighton, boys? Or
Just to add on, I think João Pedro, I've seen him in preseason. He looks lively. He's actually going to be a good player for Brighton. The other one that I think not a lot of people actually know of him. He's not. They signed him last year and sent him out to Union Saint Gilloise in Belgium. A Dingborough. I don't know if I'm saying that incorrectly. The listeners will hold me accountable there, but he's going to be a good player. He's like a right winger slash left winger. I think he plays on either side. He's a goal scoring winger, lively. It's going to be interesting. So watch out, Brighton. I think Brighton fans can tell you more about him. I think he's going to be a good player, unsung hero.
I know, I love to see it. So honorable mention, Joao Pedro, FPL players, get that brother in your team, slide him next to Kane, slide him next to Haaland, and you never know, man. You never know. So good shout there. If we move on to Burnley, I mean, they just got into the Premier League, so honestly, none of us know who their players are. Sorry to Burnley fans. They did buy this James Trafford guy from Man City, but it sounds like, he was either in the youth team or some fodder that doesn't really matter. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything noteworthy about Burnley right now, since we don't know anything about them, unless if you two gentlemen have something to say about any of this business. But I think we can move on from Burnley. Sorry,
Uh, I'll
Burnley
just
fans.
I'll just point out that when you see a transfer of a Man City youth player, I think it's worth taking note of because Man City youth teams have been destroying the other Premier League's youth teams in the youth divisions. So some of those players are really good. For example, Romeo Lavia, who joined Southampton last year, was really good, and Bazuno as well. Who knows if this guy is named Trafford will reach those levels, but so far, these youth players it's been all hits, for the teams that have bought them. So we'll see.
Actually, just to add on, James Trafford is actually a World Cup winner. He was recently at the Under 20 World Cup with England. He was the starting keeper for England. So not a lot of people actually know him, but he's pretty good. I'd say he's just a regular mid-table keeper. I don't think Man City will miss him that much.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see. I mean, all good shouts. I'm sure company knows what he's doing. Let's actually move on to a team that loves to make signings, Mr. Chelsea. They got Nicholas Jackson from Villarreal for 30 mil, Christoph Nkunku from RB Leipzig for 52 mil, Kendry Paez or Paez. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm going to say that, from Independiente de Val. Sounds Brazilian. It sounds like they got some Brazilian players. Isha Samuel Smith sounds like a Zimbabwean. So, and then they sold Kai Havertz, Mateo Kovacic left, Ruben Loftus-Cheek left, Mason Mount left for Man United, Christian Pulisic left for AC Milan, Ampadu left, Koulibaly left, Mendy left, Aubameyang left. I didn't even know that. Aspicaleta left, Nkante left. Damn it. How many other players left here? Yeah, Chelsea released a lot of players, man. Yo. Yeah, I'm never gonna mention all of these players because yeah, they released a bunch of them. But anyways, I think this is Ted Bowley giving some water back into the checkbook. So anyway, Nkosi, I'll actually let you handle the Chelsea transfers ins and outs because I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts about them. Please tell me, how has it been going preseason actually with the new signings, with what Pochettino is doing? Are you excited about, I'm sure you're excited about Jackson and Kuku. So I'll let you have it, Nkosi.
I'll say this. I didn't know much about Nicholas Jackson when they signed him. I just thought it was just going to be one of those Bashuai kind of strikers, those signings that sit on the bench and you bring them on 70th minute. But from what I've seen from him in preseason, in the summer series and the game against Wrexham, I know it was only Wrexham, but like he's looked decent. I think he's going to provide a good foil for like the team up front. He does have good link up play. He's not like he'll run the channels, he'll link up play, he'll cause a bit of havoc. I think he's going to be like one player that not a lot of people know about, but he could turn out to be quite a decent signing and a decent player for Chelsea to get goals. Like he's already scored like at least a couple of goals. He has assists here and there. Nkunku, I think the listeners will just have to watch. Like that guy is going to be electric. That guy is unreal. Like that guy is going to transform the Chelsea's season. Him and Jackson, or maybe Mudryk, Sterling. I think this is going to be the end for Sterling. Sterling is not good enough to play for Chelsea, but the players they've brought in, we recently heard that today they announced Axel Disasi from Monaco. He's a centre back. You'll see him; he's just giant, very composed on the ball, strong. The signings are coming now. We've tried to clear out quite a lot. I think the clear out needed to happen, especially like with a lot of players that were not I wouldn't say necessarily old, but like that just didn't fit what Poch wanted to do. I do agree with what Poch did when he came in. He decided to just clean out like most of the players that he didn't want. And you can see like most of the players he didn't want that are even still at Chelsea didn't even travel for preseason, like Lukaku, Ziyech, Hudson Odoi, those players that he was pretty much like set in stone that he doesn't not going to use them. He pretty much they training on their own, so that's good. That yeah, I do have a worry, although a team is looking very young. Like there was literally a midfield of 18-year-olds the other day, and I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good enough. But he's leaning into the youth quite a lot. Another one that now people actually see or hear about is Malo Gusto. Is going to be perfect for his jam. So, but we do need to make a couple of signings here and there here in August. But for the most part, like the clear out was very much needed after that 600 million that was spent.
Okay, no, that makes sense. You actually sound very positive about Chelsea this time around. So I can see excitement in your eyes, Mangoro. I can see it beaming. So I'm excited for you to see what Chelsea do this season. Yeah, Samson.
Yeah, Mangoro mentioned the man, what's his name? Mishi Bashwai, Batman, as Dortmund fans like to call him. And he reminded me of the fact that Chelsea, for the last, I'd say, 12 years, have made an effort to sign a lot of young and talented players. But the only difference is with this season is that those talented players will actually have a chance to play meaningful minutes for most of the season. Jackson, for example, is getting the opportunity that Batman didn't get, Lukaku didn't get, Broha didn't get. All the young, talented forwards Chelsea have had over the past 10 years, none of them have got it. Sturridge, he's getting the opportunity. So it's good to see that, and hopefully he'll do well. But I think, because you mentioned how young the team is, I think part of the reason why some of these youngsters have not been getting the chances over the years is that Chelsea managers and the Chelsea hierarchy have preferred having experienced players. And it's something that Mourinho kind of instilled into the club when he first joined. I think he first remarked that players like Lampard were men when they showed up. At 21 they were men, as opposed to players like Pogba at Man United, who are 26 years old and still not men in Mourinho's eyes. But yeah, having maturity is important because you can start off the season well, start off hot, but then when things get difficult, your form dips. You need experience to go through those periods, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this new team. All these players playing together for the first time, all mostly like under 26. I think Sterling, of the players that Poch wants around, he's probably the most senior. Him and Thiago Silva. Also, Thiago Silva is like a dad to most of those guys. He's like close to 40. Most of those guys are like under 21. So interesting dynamic, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm also always happy that Chelsea signs black players a lot. So Chelsea is one of those teams that actually like they support black. So I'm actually quite happy. I'm actually quite happy with Chelsea business. It's a notable shout. Anyway, I don't think there's much to say about Crystal Palace. They just bought Jefferson Lerma from Bournemouth. I don't know why they did that, but anyway, it is what it is. And they just released a couple of players. Zaha is gone from Crystal. He's going to Galatasaray. I think that's a notable sell. So other than that, nothing else of mention. Everton, I don't think there's too much to mention again. Ashley Young came in from Everton, and Danjuma came in from Villarreal. And in terms of the players they lost, nothing as well. Yeri Mina, I'm surprised they let him go since he did help with, securing them. And yeah, nothing of mention for Everton again. But anyway, boys, feel free to interject if you feel like I'm skipping these brothers unfairly. But nothing to really say there. We go to Fulham. I think. Oh, Fulham bought Raul Jimenez from Wolves for 5.5 million. A little bit disrespectful, in my opinion. Raul Jimenez was decent. I didn't think it would cost 5.5 million, given what he's been able to achieve at Wolves, which is not that much anyway. But anyway, I just think 5.5 is actually quite disrespectful for someone like Raul Jimenez, and Rice is getting bought for 105. But anyway, in terms of the people that they lost, nothing as well of mention. Nothing crazy here. Fulham, not sure what they're gonna be doing. I don't see them going well. But let's go to Liverpool. Alexis McAllister from Brighton, 35 mil. Dominic Sosboslai, I probably butchered that, from RP Leipzig for 60 mil. And players out, Jordan Henderson went to I went to Saudi Arabia. They lost Robbie Firmino, Naby Keita, James Milner, Chamberlain, Carvalho, and yeah, none of these other guys. But anyway, boys, what are we thinking about the Liverpool business? I mean, they've only bought McAllister and Zoboslai, and that's it. I Liverpool needed to do a lot more work, so I'm surprised that that's all they've done so far.
They are in the current market actually in a bidding war right now with Southampton trying to get Romeo Lavia out of there. I think Fabinho might move on to Saudi very soon. They're pretty much just coding the last fees there and signing the contract, but I think Fabinho's going to move on. I think they've addressed like their main midfield issues. I think we're going to see a lot of Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott on top of Sabazlai and McAllister, and then maybe a lot of Lavia as well. So I don't know. Maybe Klopp is thinking of actually trying this Trent thing in midfield. I foresee it being a disaster, especially against the bigger teams. It could work against the smaller teams because those ones will be penned back for the most part. But the two signings, McAllister is a very good signing. He keeps it ticking over. He's a good number 8/number 10. He's going to be a good playmaker. So Boss Life, for those that don't know, is going to be crazy. Like that guy can play. Like I think we're going to see someone who can strike the ball in such a unique way that it looks potent. If you've watched De Bruyne, you're seeing a new generation of some kind of like De Bruyne. Like his dead ball striking ability is up there with the very best. Like Szoboszlai is going to be crazy, and he's also a playmaker. Dead ball, like him and Trent are going to be fighting for free kicks now. It's going to be crazy.
Okay, well, I didn't know there was that much excitement. I thought, to me, this seemed pretty like casual buys, but yeah, I mean, hopefully they don't do well. You know, you guys know I hate Liverpool, but I mean, if this is good business, this is good business. But I thought they'd have signed more players because rotation, like I don't know, it just sounds like you need to. I've actually expected Liverpool to sign more defenders to replace the fact that if Trent is going to midfield, maybe they'll have someone to cover that side. It doesn't sound like Lavia is midfield too, right? I don't think he's yeah. So I expected them to sign more like back players. You know, Van Dijk is trash. We all know that. So you know, just I thought to bring in some people to kind of rejuvenate the back line. But anyway, that's my opinion on that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see some more signings before the transfers season is done. Okay. Samson, do you have any thoughts on Liverpool, or we can move on?
Yeah, I was just gonna echo what you're saying about depth. Um, and yeah, they released a lot of guys. Um, Most of their midfield is gone. The only players who remain are Curtis Jones and Elliott, from last season. Then it's so the midfield depth is literally Dominic, Alexis, Curtis Jones, and Elliott. That's four guys for three positions, and none of them are natural defensive midfielder because Fabinho is the only one, and he's going. Um, Trent is still a below average right back defensively. Um, Van Dijk is still Van Dijk when he's on being faced with a counter attack, and the attack is the same. You didn't add anyone. Obviously, Jota's back from injury, Luis Diaz back from injury, so guys are back, but it's the same attack. Slightly weaker slightly more creative midfield, but slightly weaker defensive midfield. So, and yeah, this was kind of highlighted by a preseason game they had in Germany. They played Greuther Fürth. I think they're in the second division, or might have been promoted. Actually, I'm not sure, but played them, drew 4-4. If you're drawing 4-4 with Greuther Fürth, I don't care if it's the first game of preseason, bro. It's you should not be drawing 4-4 with such a team. It's it's like drawing 4-4 with a bottom half championship team, like a relegation battle championship team. Like that's how bad that result is. And yeah, to me, even though it's a preseason, considering four in a game like that is just alarming and kind of shows that they need to do some work because I think they're going to struggle still defensively. So yeah.
Definitely hoping that they struggle. But anyway, yeah, those are all good points. Moving on to Luton, I think I'm so excited to watch Luton play, guys. I don't know why, but I can't wait to watch Luton play. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I think we talked about Marvelous Nakamba. He did save them last season, so it's going to be interesting to see him playing in Luton. And for the fans out there that know what Luton is like in the UK, it's Zimbabwe Central. It's basically Zimbabwe in the UK, just a bunch of Zims there. So basically, Marvelous is playing for the national team. Anyway, jump on to Man City. Man City actually haven't done that much business in terms of players they've bought in. They've got this guy, Spike Brits from AFC Wimbledon. I'm like, what the hell? Is he a tennis player? And they've got this guy, Yangel Herrera from Girona and Mateo Kovacic from Chelsea. I didn't even know that they bought him, but I guess that's just, patching up some stuff. They've let go of a lot of players though. Mahrez is gone. We talked about that James Trafford guy. He's a young kid. Ilkay Gundogan left. Benjamin Mendy, man finally got released from jail, got released from his contract too, went to Lorient. And Liam Delap left, went to Hull. But that's okay. I mean, they just sold a lot of youngish players, but Man City haven't done a lot of business. To me, it makes sense. I think their team, like, they bought a lot of players last time around, so I don't think they needed to do that much patchwork. So not much to say about Man City. Man United, Mason Mount.
Uh,
Oh, go ahead,
just on
Nkosi.
Man City, actually, just real quick.
Yeah,
So, Man City's strategy is going to be sign two players this summer, and they've got the first one in Kovacic. That was easy. They're focusing a lot of their attention and their budget on Josko Gvardiol. Everyone remembers him from the World Cup. Leipzig won 100 million euros. That's where Man City's money is going to go this year. When they sign, if or when they sign him, that's them done. They don't do a lot of like signings, but they get him. It's going to be crazy. But just so that everyone knows.
definitely. Nah, thanks for that note. Thanks for that one, Magoro. And yeah, so Man United, as I was saying, Mason Mount came in from Chelsea for 60 mil. Andre Onana came in from Inter for 47.2 mil. And they bought Johnny Evans again for from Leicester for free. And players out, Anthony Langa, he went to Nottingham Forest. Iqbal went to Utrecht. Alex Tellers, he had left already, so not too much to say there. David De Gea released, unfortunately. Phil Jones finally released from the shackles where they're keeping him in the basement there for 10 years. Axel Twanzebe and this guy, William Fish. But, boys, anything to say about Man United, about their business? Maybe I should talk to Mangora about Mickey Mount being signed. I heard he's doing decently well, so I don't know. But, I don't know who they're going to replace who they're replacing De Gea with, or Onana, sorry. But yeah, what do you two boys think about the Mount and Onana business?
Mount is, I'd say, it's going to be good business. I don't, as a Chelsea supporter, like, for me personally, like, when I look at Mount, I just think of, like, just his career, like, the way Chelsea treated him last year and just what they were actually offering to him was an actual joke, like, honestly. Like, and I do, like, trust in him. Like he thought about his career. At the end of the day, like as much as the team can be a team you've come through the academy with, but if they're gonna treat you like a just a number there, definitely think about your career. As much as Manchester United are offering more money, like I also would have done the same thing. Like if he's motivated by money, then great. And also maybe a change of scenery. Onana's going to be revolutionary. You're gonna see some crazy things there in goal. Like he'll be at some games he'll try to play in midfield. That's just who he is. Ball playing, probably up there with Edison in terms of ball playing. They've recently brought in, I think, it's probably going through his medical, Rasmus Hoyland from Atalanta. I think the fee was agreed recently. I don't know much about like the kind of like striker he is. I know he's not a target man. He only spent like 1 year at Atalanta, so I think they're taking a gamble there. But Man U, they do some of these things.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Hoyland. I think he scored like 9 league goals last season. So he's not, for the people who want to make Haaland comparisons, he's not that. He has a similar name, and he's Scandinavian, and it's gonna look great when Sky Sports are previewing the Man City Derby. I mean, the Manchester Derby, but it's not the same guy. Um, Although I think Onana, I think their additions have been good because it just provides a bit more consistency. Onana is not David De Gea, and that's for all his qualities, that's all he needs to be. Just do not be David De Gea. And it's very simple to just not be that guy. Just catch the ball. You know, don't pass it to Harry Maguire when he has a player on him. In fact, don't even pass to Harry Maguire at all. Um, Use your feet because you have them and you have time to control and pass. Do that, and I think he's going to be fine. He's going to do great. I think the long balls to Rashford, they're going to be fantastic. Mason Mount is going to be a good addition because he's going to play a lot of games. They've had a lot of inconsistency in the team because the midfield kept changing. Um, Bruno Fernandes was the only one who was there most of the time. Now he'll have a partner in crime. And Hoyland will be a good, having a natural striker in the team, like finally, I think will be a plus because I think it's so important for a team like Manchester United that likes to play on the counter attack. Having someone just making the run who you can aim at with the long balls, who can be gambling on like a second ball. It changes the whole dynamic because you lose way less balls when you launch it forward because he's going to challenge them, and at least if he doesn't win it, he's going to give you time to at least reposition and get back in a defensive shape instead of just getting hit on the counter every 2 seconds. Which you know we talk about that Liverpool game. That's one of the things that was happening. Just no striker, balls coming back every 2 seconds. That's not going to happen as much, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what Manchester United does this coming season. But yeah, moving on to Newcastle. They got Harvey Barnes. They got from Leicester for 39 mil. They got Sandro Tonali. People are excited about that player from AC Milan for 55 mil. And out they sold Alan Saint Maximin. I actually liked him, but he's also going to Saudi Arabia. They sold the likes of Chris Wood and Manny Longstaff. Nothing too crazy there. I was actually expecting Newcastle to do a lot more business, given the fact that they do have oil money. So, but I understand the progression in these things. But anyway, I do expect Newcastle hopefully to do a lot more business because they have the money and they are playing Champions League. So they do need the squad depth. So they should definitely do a lot more signings. Moving on to Nottingham Forest. Anthony Elanga came in from United. Chris Wood came in from Newcastle. That's about it. In terms of players out, Andre Ayew, Jesse Lingard. I don't even know if Lingard is going to be playing soccer anymore. Who knows? I heard he's starting his own football team. I don't know if that's true or not. That's a rumor I heard. But yeah, who knows where that brother's going to go. And it sounds like they actually did release a lot of players. So I think Nottingham Forest is finally starting to settle down a little bit, So let's see how they do this season. Sheffield United, nothing to, we don't know any of these farmers. So nothing else to say about Sheffield United. Sorry to the Sheffield United fans. They're signing people like Anis Ben Slimane from Brøndby. We're not going to talk about that. Come on now. Okay. So, Spurs. Finally, we have Dejan Kulusevski. He's coming from Juventus. We signed James Maddison. I'm excited about that. Let's see how that goes. The Vicario from Empoli and Manor Solomon from Shakhtar Donetsk. So, and we sold Harry Winks, Lucas Moura, and this guy, Tom Bloxham. As a Spurs fan, I'm looking forward to seeing James Maddison. I'm happy that Dejan Kulusevski is, decent now. He's with us. I heard Richarlison is doing good in preseason. Mr. Kane, if you listen to the podcast, just if you have to tie Levy in the basement and threaten his family so you can leave Spurs, do what you can, my guy. I don't want to see it our team this coming season. I love you, but find peace, bro. Please just go win a trophy somewhere. It's okay. We're not going to be mad if you bounce, okay? We're not going to be mad at you. But we just want a situation where you stay at Spurs and you sulk for the first half of the season because you did not get to leave. That's not going to help us. So, Harry, please just find a way to bounce, man. Just find a way to leave, and it's okay. We will not be mad at you. We love you. We'll love you forever. You're a club legend. Thank you for your service. Levy, if you listen to this, stop being a dick. Let the man go. Any thoughts on Spurs, boys, or we can move on to West Ham?
I do have a question for you. What are your thoughts on not just the players, honestly, Ange Postecoglou, number one, Mano Solomon, who was at Fulham last year, didn't do much, but you signed him, and Vicario is literally going to be a starting keeper this year.
Hey, you know what, man? Listen. Right now, Spurs is going through it. I don't have any thoughts. Our owner just got RICO'd for internal, internal gambling or insider trading. So listen, I don't know. I think whatever I get from Spurs this season, I'll take it. I think the season is already over for me. I don't have any hopes. I'm just hoping that we don't finish outside of the top 10, but the likelihood is pretty high. So, and that Australian manager of ours, no trust. Don't trust him. Don't know anything about him. I never thought I'd be led by an Australian coach manager. I have no faith. No faith. I don't even know if he's going to last the full season, but let's see. I have no thoughts about that, brother. So yeah, I'm in a dark place with Spurs. I'm not even going to watch any Spurs games until maybe like game week 7. So we'll see from there. For now, for the first 6 game weeks, I'm never going to watch.
I do have one thing to say here, or two things. Number one, Guglielmo Vicario, he's 26, Italian international, just like De Gea at Manchester United. He just has not to be Lloris. Like I told you last season, right? You remember this, Mangor. I told them after when we were having this exact episode a year ago. I told them you have 2 keepers who are half retired that you're going to play in the league, and sure enough, 24 games in, man retired. Lloris was like, "Yo, I'm done." Getting subbed off at halftime and shit. You're like, he was done. Vicario, he's 26. He plays for the national team. He is like yo, it's so much better. It's so much better. And I think all the signings are pretty good for Spurs. I think Solomon, he's not much, but he's better than Lucas Moura. James Madison improves the midfield. Dejan Kulusevski, you needed to keep no matter what. You just needed to. And also, one last thing, Harry Kane. I don't trust Harry Kane. Harry Kane has done a lot for England and Spurs, and I respect him for that. Holds a lot of records. Congratulations, Harry Kane. But the man, in my opinion, does not have a winning mentality. The man, his mentality is messed up. I think it's like a Spurs thing. He's been there too long. His mind is messed up because if he wanted to leave, like if he really, really wanted to leave, he would have left Spurs 4 years ago when he signed that new contract. Before he signed the new contract for 5 years. He didn't have to, but he did. Why? Because he wanted to stay and break records and be comfortable. Earlier this summer, Real Madrid came in. He was pressed out of a move. He did not fight about it. He did not complain. He did not go to the media. He just kept quiet and kept his head down and kept moving. Bayern came. They were rejected the first time. They're coming in again. Again, hasn't made a fuss, hasn't complained, hasn't said anything. Head down, keep moving. My thing is, if you really want to go, you will make a fuss. You're 29 years old. You're the best striker or second best striker in the league, top 5 in the world. You deserve to play for a top team. Why are you not making an effort to go? What is holding you back? I think we're going to see him at Spurs this season, and I think he's going to leave on a free because I think whenever Spurs is involved, I think the funniest option for their rivals is usually what they go with. So Harry Kane on a free to Arsenal, I can see that happening. Harry Kane on a free to, I don't know, Chelsea, I can see it happening. Just the funniest option available is probably what's going to happen, and I'm very prepared for it. I'm very prepared.
Yeah, I'm not ready for any of that. But I also, that is true. I won't fault him for it. He's not making a fuss. He's not actually like, hey yo, I want to go here. Like, we're not hearing any of that. So I don't know, but we'll have to see. um, Moving on, we're almost done. West Ham, they've only signed Sean Moore from Cliftonville. Is that even a real place? Who knows? Is that a real team? Who knows? Cliftonville. Anyways, they've lost Declan Rice, Atamaswaku, Lanzini left, and Freddie Potts. Maybe he's Potter's cousin. Who knows? But yeah, those are the West Ham haven't done much. They've lost their star player, and they haven't really brought in anyone else who's crazy enough to replace him. So I'm actually quite concerned for West Ham this coming season, unless they make some powerful moves. I think Skamaka, did he leave? Or they're using him, but I think he left and they don't even know how to use him. So I'm actually not sure what Moyes is cooking at West Ham, but it's going to be undercooked like British food. I can tell you that much. So, good luck to West Ham. Moving on to Wolves. They got in Traore from Meds. They love their Traores there at Wolves. Doherty, they got their brother from Atletico Madrid, and Tom King. Wolves, I don't know what business they're doing again. They lost their star striker and Raul Jimenez. These are the brothers they've signed. I'm pretty sure Traore is a striker from what all Traores do. I think that's what they're born to do anyway. In terms of the players that they've lost, Connor Cody went to Leicester. Raul Jimenez went to Fulham. Jimenez went to Saudi Arabia. Costa was released. Joao Moutinho was released. Agbula released. Yeah, they released a lot of players. Chiquinho. So not sure what they're cooking as well at Wolves, but I'll be very concerned about those brothers and this coming season. I think they're also going to be touching relegation. So yeah, it's not looking good. But yeah, those are all the transfers, boys, that have taken place so far. The market is still open, but yeah, what are y'all's impression on a bigger picture scale? Is this going to be a big season? Are we about to witness an exciting season, given what we've seen with the signings, or are things still shaking up?
August is gonna give us quite a number of transfers. I think there could still be major transfers. Not that I believe there'll be major transfers that happen in August. Some expected, some unexpected, some coming out of left field that we didn't expect. So who knows? Like there'll be some very strange things across Europe. So even in Saudi Arabia has taken akin to these European players and offered them lifetime money. So who knows? Like, but August is going to be big, but the season, all in all, is going to be also exciting because now there's a lot of money in the Premier League. Premier League is turning into a super league, signing players from the greatest leagues around the world for great prices, some overpayments. So yeah, it's actually gonna be interesting to see across the board what other teams actually do.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Mangoro said. Yeah, I think there'll be more moves. And I think there's some teams that need to make moves. Liverpool for sure, Manchester United for sure. Some teams that I'm not sure they need to, like Spurs, where it's like, let's just wait and see what we have. We don't even know if we're good. We don't even know if we spend like 40 more million, is that helping us or hurting us? We don't know. Let's just wait. And probably Newcastle probably maybe feel they're in that same boat where they're not sure exactly where to improve or who to sign exactly. Um, but yeah, I think maybe I'd say most teams have like one or two more signings they could make. West Ham actually need like five, by the way. And just to put this out there, they were trying to spend 50 million of the Rice money on Scott McTominay, so I am very worried about them. Um, and the problem with West Ham is we saw this 10 years ago when David Moyes was at Manchester United. David Moyes is not a big budget manager. You give him a big budget, he'll spend 50 million on Marouane Fellaini or 35 million on Marouane Fellaini, which is what he did at Manchester United. I was not surprised that David Moyes was trying to sign Scott McTominay for 50 million. It's a David Moyes type of move, and I expect him to do more dumb David Moyes things. Um, but yeah, I'd say they probably need the most work out of any team. But yeah, I expect some moves, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. From just reading this list that we did, West Ham definitely need to make those moves. You're right, and if they use that 100 million properly, like they could make at least four good signings. Like doesn't have to be anything crazy. Four players, 25 million each, different leagues. You could make something happen. Like that's doable. Yeah, Spurs. I really do think that Spurs need to sign another striker just in case. Like, I don't want a situation where Harry Kane leaves 2 weeks before the season, like a week before the season starts, and I was scrambling to find a new striker. Like, that's not a situation I'm looking forward to. So I really do hope that that Australian guy finds a striker from somewhere. Like, even if it's not someone great, but like someone okay. Even if we sign, okay, I was about to say that brother who was at Man United. What's that tall brother was a waste of space. That centre back. that brother of ours that we roasted every day.
Vergost?
Vegas. Even if we sign Vegas, I'll take him as a plan B. Like I'll take him. Like just need somebody up there, you know. But yeah, definitely as Samson is saying, we do a lot of teams do need to do a few more signings, especially Liverpool, in my opinion. I think Liverpool are not in a good place and they do need to patch up a lot more. So let's see how things shake up in August. But I'm very excited to see the start of the league. But we're going to talk about our preview for the season in the next episode. So stay tuned, listener, because it is coming quicker than you expect. And we'll definitely be giving that update and giving our thoughts on that. So yeah, that's all the transfer news. Thank you very much, Lisa, for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful to you, helpful to know what's happening in the Premier League as we have exactly 2 weeks left before the new season starts. Great times are up ahead. Relationships, look out. We have something to do now. So any closing words, gents? I'll start with you, Samson and Nkosi.
Yeah, dear listener, I think our rivals should be afraid. You know, Arsenal's looking good once more. Man City is, I think, so far is like the only real rival right now on paper. Manchester United is, you know, who knows? Like that's a wait and see. Newcastle is a wait and see. Liverpool's a wait and see. Chelsea is children, literally children who've never played together, and you know we'll wait and see. Spurs, man, you could flip a coin, bro. could could be could be 15th, could be 5th. Who knows with Spurs? So yeah, it's looking good for the Arsenal, and I'm very excited to see how we start the season. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one.
Chelsea supporters, it's going to be a good one. I think it'll be a good one. I wasn't sold on Poch when he was first being touted around. I know he's certainly better than GP. GP was the worst. I think we should have, when we sacked Tuchel, we should have brought in Poch at that point and just didn't go through this dilemma with GP, honestly. So it's going to be a good season. We'll be fielding our under 12s every week. They look ready. They look unafraid of other teams. So I'm actually excited to see most of the kids will be rolling out. It's actually very exciting. It's scary but exciting at the same time. It could be 1920 or all over again. But you know, Muta, there's I asked you earlier today, where you based now, and you told me earlier, like, oh, I'm in Canada now, and you should start tuning in for some MLS games. Those are going to be very interesting in and around in your area. So I think you said you're based in Toronto, correct? Perfect, perfect. So, you know, I like to discover unknown players, you know, and I think I've unlocked someone for Toronto. So Toronto signed a new player from South Africa, another Forest brother. He'll be landing very soon. Goes by the name of Cassius Mailula. You heard it here first, listener. Cassius Mailula is going to be a superstar at Toronto. Mutsa, go out there, tell people you know who he is and things like that. You'll be famous. By the time, this time next year, everyone in Toronto is going to be wearing a Cassius Mailula t-shirt. I'm telling you right now, Mutsa, free of charge. This is going to happen. So definitely do that. Listener, enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the new season. And yeah.
No, thanks for that plug, Mangoro. I certainly will not be watching any Toronto games. You can best believe that. But you know what? We shall see. Maybe I'll change and maybe I'll tune in to see this Cassius Malula fella. Maybe I'll host him over for dinner if he's missing the forest. I will, cook him some nice food if he's willing. Maybe we'll even have him on the pod. You know, you never know. But yeah, listener, you know what we can do. So just keep tuned. Tune in. But anyway, listener, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and we will catch you on the next one. So peace out.